Hello, I'm back. How are you today? I'm very good, thanks. Today is, let's see, what day is it today? Let me check. Calendar. Okay. Today is Martes, okay. Today is actually June 4th, right? June 4th. And what day is it today? Today is Tuesday. Okay. Tuesday, June 4th, the year 2024. Hoy es martes 4 de junio de 2024. Okay, weather is perfect. And I already finished walking my dogs. Time now is 11:32 a.m. of course. Okay, I've been a rather a morning person these days. I actually love waking up early, and I wish I could even wake up earlier because I love the moment I love best in a day. The best time of the day for me is when I can see dawn. Okay, it's very, very early in the morning, right? Like at this time in June, the sun comes up very early, right? Where is the cable for my iPhone? I want to recharge my iPhone because it's going to be dead soon. Oh, excuse me. Okay. They might have some noises, right? That you can hear. Okay, now my iPhone is recharging. I'm recharging my iPhone because the battery of my iPhone was almost gone, and just before it's gone, I should have done it so that I was able to keep talking on my iPhone, because if the battery had gone, it would have stopped, right? The recording would have stopped. So, okay, anyway, where was I? Yeah, I woke up pretty early this morning, and I always try to sleep as much as I can, which means that I almost never use an alarm clock. Actually, the alarm clock application for my iPhone, though, when I don't have any appointments for the next day, I never set an alarm and let myself wake up naturally, because that's what I love the best. Okay. And I already finished walking my dogs, and the weather is perfect for walking, but for me, it's already too hot for me. When I walk, when you walk too, naturally your body gets hotter and hotter, right? Because your body is activated, and after 5 or 6 minutes since I started walking, my body naturally warms up, and it makes me sweat. And in winter, it's okay because it's cool, right? It's cold. So after 5 minutes or so, I begin to feel warm, and it's quite comfortable. It even makes me feel warm enough so that I can take off my coat, but I don't because while I'm walking my dogs, taking off my coat is not my option. I should stop and take off my coat, and it takes time. And in the first place, how I could bring my coat, right? When I walk my dogs, I have to have their leash. I have 2 dogs, and I walk those 2 dogs at the same time. And in this case, I bring one of my dog's leash on the right hand, and for the other leash for the other dog is I don't have it with my hand. Instead, I don't know. I use my shoulder. Okay, I use my body to cling. Okay, I can explain it in English right now. It's quite complicated to explain. It's quite complicating to explain it in English. So I don't think I can do it right now, but it'll take time for me to explain all about it. So I just skip it. But in a nutshell, what I was trying to say is that the leash for the other dog, I don't have it in my hand. Instead, I use my body to cling it. Is it okay for me to use this word cling in this situation? I don't have a dictionary right now. I'm sitting in front of my iPad actually, and I can just check the word, but it'll take time. And anyway, this practice of recording my voice in which I speak English, whatever comes into my mind, the main purpose of this is to try to explain whatever in my own words without using anything like an online dictionary or a memo pad or something like that. So sometimes I have to I have to stop and think about what to say, how to say. But this can be a good practice because in this way I understand where I should get better. I should make better. So this is the practice I want to do for this channel. And yesterday I did it for the very first time in the last 6 months or so. I had been doing this for about 100 days last year, the year 2023, and I stopped it. Suddenly I stopped it in the very beginning of October last year. And ever since then, I almost never recorded my voice. I have almost never recorded my voice. Should I use the past tense here, or should I use the present perfect, or even should I use the past perfect? I don't know. I'm talking about what happened in the past and until yesterday. So I should use the past perfect, right? Because if I use the present perfect, it means that it's still it's still continued, right? Even now. But no, because yesterday I recorded my voice, and the time when I wasn't recording my voice for this channel actually ended yesterday, right? Because yesterday I made the new video all over again. And the reason why I was absent for the last 6 months that long was because I gave it up. What did I give up? I gave up the idea of becoming a fluent English speaker. For me, English is my second language. My native language is Japanese, and English is my second language, and I always wanted to be a pretty decent English speaker ever since I started studying English all over again when I was a housekeeper, permanent housekeeper, professional housekeeper, or a mother of 3 children. 2 children at that time, okay. And when I was having my third child, third child was on the way, or I was expecting my third child, and then I came up with this idea of studying English all over again because I was just curious to see if someone like me who completely stopped studying English after graduating from high school. I've never been to university, so my last education was high school. My final education is high school, and I ended it at the age of 18. And ever since then, for the last 10 years or so, I didn't study. I didn't have any opportunity to study English or even use any English word on purpose. And I was just curious if someone like me who was away from English can be a pretty decent English speaker if I studied. If I had studied, I don't know which tense should I use. I don't know, but okay. And I was just curious to see if I could improve my English skills. And I started learning it from scratch, basically, literally. Okay, and where was I? I tend to go off on a tangent very often, and while I'm speaking, I totally get lost. So it often happens, so don't worry about this. This is very typical of me. Okay, and anyway, I did my recording for the first time in 6 months, and why did I stop? Yeah, I gave up, actually, becoming a decent speaker. And the reason why I gave up becoming a decent English speaker, because English is not something that I needed desperately, which means that I can live without English. English is just my pleasure, pastime, and I can survive here in Japan only by speaking in Japanese. And I love English. I love the sound of English. I love English. Okay. It's not that I don't like the language. I'm not curious about it. No, it's not true. I'm curious about it, and English is the love of my life, and I'm glad that I studied it all over again. My decision at the age of 28 turned out to be totally correct, and I'm sure I was destined to do that, because after studying English and now I think I'm somewhere between upper intermediate and the early advanced, I guess. There are many more people who can speak English much better than I am, and I've never been abroad. I've never studied abroad either. Of course, I've been here in Japan all of my life, and I mostly taught myself how to speak English, and I did lots of series of trial and error, and I failed a lot. And even so, acquiring my foreign language is totally different from acquiring my native tongue, because why can I speak Japanese fluently in the first place? It's not just because I love the language. It's just because I was born in Japan, and I have been raised in a situation where I had to speak Japanese, right? So it's not it doesn't have to do with how much I love the language, right? In order to survive, I have to speak the language. So I in a nutshell, I believe that this is the best way you can acquire the language. And when it comes to your foreign language, it's totally different, right? Especially when you live in a country where there's no opportunity for you to use your target language, right? You have to be in love with the language if you really want to be a decent speaker of the language. And when I asked myself if I was enthusiastic enough to be such an enthusiastic, a decent speaker of the language, which is English, I was not sure. I asked myself about 6 months ago, when I was about to finish or give up recording my voice in English and upload the video on YouTube every day, and I asked myself if I was passionate enough to acquire the language, and then the answer was no. Yeah, I loved the language, but I was not as passionate and enthusiastic as I should have been, I thought. And the conclusion I got at that time was that you can never acquire the language even if you really need it to survive, Like many Philippine people, I forgot the word to describe the people living in the Philippines. But okay, Filipinos, is it okay? Filipinos, people living in the Philippines tend to improve their English fairly quickly, and much more quickly than we normally do. I mean, we Japanese people normally do, because they really need it to survive, to get the next level, to get a good occupation, right? So, but when it comes to that kind of aspect, I don't think we Japanese are in a situation, we are not in the same kind of situation. We can survive only in Japan, only by speaking Japanese, our native tongue. And this is something that we should feel fortunate about, in a sense, because I can't explain it in English, because it's not something to do with my language ability, but it is something more about it's something more to do with it has more to do with the background information, right? But we are fortunate enough to survive only by speaking Japanese here in Japan. That's why I don't know what percentage of people, or I don't have any specific I don't know, numbers or something like that, but I guess, in my opinion, to about how many people, what percentage of people, I guess 80% of people can't speak English in a real sense. We study English, but not all people love the language learning. Not only English, but I'm not talking only about English, but it's also about other foreign languages like Chinese and French, any European languages, any Asian languages. Some people can be very passionate about language learning because they are interested in foreign languages. For such people, learning or studying English, for example, as a subject at school is very meaningful, but for others, it's just, for me, it seems to be very torture. It's like a torture. But when it comes to English, since we have so many English loan words here and there in Japan, it could be helpful for us to understand the real meaning of the original words, English words. But when we use words that we borrowed from English, we tend to use it like Japanese. Okay, we tend to use those English loan words like as if they were originated from Japanese. That's why I don't think all the people recognize the real meaning of English words. We just use them as Japanese, but it sounds like foreign words, and we write them in a different writing system, and we understand that it's a foreign word, but still, since we use it as Japanese, so we don't know where it came from. Okay, but when we study English at school, on the whole, generally, we might get the opportunity to broaden our horizons because we could understand where all those foreign words that we tend to assume that are Japanese actually came from those English words. It's educational. And it's when it comes to English, I believe that studying English at school is okay because it can be educational for people. Because when it comes to math, I totally forgot about everything when we studied at high school. At high school, we studied math, but I totally forgot all about it. But probably I can't answer this question properly, but why should we learn or study such math? Subjects like math, which is pretty difficult or complex to understand at school, is because we have to nurture our mind. We study math at school, even though we would never have the opportunity to use it in real life, is because we learned it to broaden our horizon, broaden our future, broaden our mindset. So I think even though we don't have the opportunity to use it in the real world, studying it and having the opportunity to get to know what math is all about is very meaningful for your life later in life. And this can be said to English learning at school, I guess. So I can't say that it's totally unnecessary. But actually, where was I? I was talking about English, right? And about 6 months ago, I decided to quit uploading my recording on YouTube because I thought that I thought that I would be a better English speaker because I didn't need English to survive. So that's why. And it completely stopped speaking in English for the next 6 months. And what have I done? While I was away from doing something in English, I was working on my Spanish more. I was mainly watching YouTube videos, and I was reading some Spanish books on Kindle, and the spring this year, I mean the year 2024, should I say last spring, this spring, last spring, okay, last spring, and I've at the beginning of April or at the end of May, March. I don't remember exactly when it happened, but I started keeping a journal in English. Suddenly, I was thinking about it for a week or so. I used to keep in the journal in English before, but I didn't do it for such a long time, nearly a year or so. And probably last March was a very evolutional season for me, because at one time I decided to do something that I had wished I could do before I die. There are a couple of things. One of them was to practice playing the piano again. There's a piano in this room, in this living room, where I always study and even eat something, have my meals. They have had been a piano all the time, and but I completely stopped playing the piano, and it had been about a year or so. But there was this book, music textbook that I had bought a few years back, and I had tried once or twice, and I had given up already. I lost interest, but I was always having this textbook in my mind until I started to do it again in March this year, and I was thinking about it for a while, like a month or so, even as long as a month, and I asked myself if I don't know how to say this. Is it okay for me to live without it, or to die? Is it okay for me to die without realizing my dream of trying the textbook again? I'll talk about the textbook, what the textbook is all about. It's about a piano, piano playing in a band, and it has so many pieces of good and cool. I don't know how to play the piano. How to play the piano piece. It only has a very short, very compact, short piano, song, accompany, because the textbook is for people who are playing the piano or keyboards in a band. And I bought it because in those days, back in the year 2016 or so, or 18, I don't remember exactly when I bought it, but I was really enthusiastic about learning how to play the cool piano sound myself. And I chose the book, and I don't remember why I chose the book in the first place though. But I read the review, and it made me decide to get that book. And yeah, it has so many pieces of cool piano playing, and each song is very short, like eight, I don't know how to say it, eight, it's like one song lasts only 15 seconds. No, it's not that short, but it's not as long as 30 seconds. Okay, it's a collection of very short length of piano song. Okay, but each one sounds really cool and dynamic, and I thought that when I bought the book, I couldn't know, there was no way that I could understand what songs were all about, what songs could be all about. But when I had the book, and it came with 2 CDs, 1 CD or 2 CDs, I don't remember, but okay, it comes with a CD, at least 1 CD. And when I listened to it for the first time, I was thrilled because songs sounded really cool, and I really wanted to be able to play them all by myself. That's how I felt. At first I bought that book, but soon I gave up. I think that's because I didn't have the clearer vision of how I wanted to approach the book. Approach the book. But now I have a completely different image of the book, because now I realize that after having a colon cancer operation back in 2022, it's been almost 2 years since I had the operation, but that experience made me realize that we never know how longer we can live, right? We never know when your last day is, right? Which means that I don't know how much time I have left, right? Then I thought I should do something that I'm just thinking about wanting to try as soon as possible. Otherwise I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I don't want to miss the opportunity, every opportunity to make my dream, even the smallest dream, come true. And then I was determined to try the book again, and I started playing the piano at least 1 hour a day. And I decided to practice the piano for at least 1 hour a day. But looking back, that was a bit a tall order, right? Tall order, yes. But it wasn't difficult for me to do, and even now, it's been almost 3 months since then, and I still practice the piano every day, and I think I'm becoming a better piano player, and I'm glad that I decided to do it. And the next thing I wanted to try was to keep in the English journal again, to express my thoughts and feelings in English. And I used to write with my hand. It used to be my handwritten English journal on a notebook, but I decided to type it this time because the original method that I learned how to keep an English journal suggested that we do it with my own hand on a notebook. There must have been some certain reasons to do it, so that we can make it more effective to release ourselves. Okay, the main objective of this keeping a handwritten diary on a notebook every day for at least 1 hour every day is to release our thoughts, to make ourselves as liberated as possible. So the time we spend and how to do it is very important. Okay, but this time I totally ignore the method just because I love typing better than handwriting. And I thought that it would be better for me to choose something that is more comfortable for me, because the more comfortable it is, the better it makes you feel, right? So that's why I decided to type whatever comes into my mind on a note app on my iPad. And I even bought a new keyboard. It's a very colorful keyboard, and which looks just like a palette of eyeshadows and makeup kit. And I loved it so much. It's not very expensive. It's quite cheap. And I chose the keyboard, and I decided to buy a new keyboard just because I wanted to make my journaling task more fun. And I started doing it. And when I started doing it, I was so surprised because until then, for the last 4 months or so, I almost did nothing about improving my English. But suddenly I started keeping a diary in English, and I was so surprised because I was able to write much better than before. This is what I felt, but I actually was able to write better and more and faster. Words and phrases came into my mind more quickly than before, and when I even tried to read something that was written by native English speakers, I was also surprised how simple and easy their writings can be. I always thought that English written or spoken by native English speakers were different. I always thought that. And I always thought that I could never write or speak the way they do. But at that time, I was so surprised how simple and easy their English sounds, and it makes me feel as if I could do the same. And this is how I felt just after I started writing an English journal last May this year. But until then, I studied Spanish in English. So it's not that I never used my English. I used English to study Spanish. And then I really wanted to read the English books a lot. And I did. And I realized that my English listening skills improved so much. And I don't know why. But I heard this story before. This man, American man, who was studying Japanese, completely stopped studying Japanese while traveling in other countries. And then he said that that's when his Japanese improved the most. He didn't do anything about learning Japanese, improving Japanese, but even though he didn't do anything to improve his Japanese, that's when his Japanese improved the most drastically. And that is a very interesting story to me, and I always have that story in my mind. And the same thing, I guess, happened to me. I didn't do almost anything to improve my English. I just use it to study Spanish, and when I had to read instructions and explanations about Spanish learning, and then when I started doing something in English again, I realized that my English improved so much. I was able to listen to English much better and much more clearly, and I was able to write English more smoothly, and but I never tried to speak English, okay? That's not my main interest. And then I tried to I actually read a lot of English books then, and at one time in April, I guess, this year, there was a time when I really wanted to improve my English, but the more desperate I become, the more difficult things might become also. So I try not to do it. But okay, then I started playing the piano again, and I started doing something in English again. And the another thing that I wanted to try before I die again was to play the guitar again. I was away from playing the guitar for almost a year, but my guitar was always on the wall, and I was sometimes, not always, but I had my guitar on my mind, but never tried to do it again. But I decided to do it again because when I think about myself not being able to play the guitar anymore, I thought I found it quite disappointing. And once you start something again, you will realize how simple and easy it is. So if you have something in your mind, and you always wish you could start something again, or even you wish you could start something, you should do it right now, because it's easier than it looks. It is actually easier than it looks. So, and it's been more than a month, I guess, since I started playing the guitar again. And at first, I was terrible. I almost forgot all the songs that I used to play, and I even forgot some chords that I didn't use much before. And but now, day by day, I feel that I'm getting better, and it's very encouraging, because the no matter how old you are, you can get better at it, right? So it's very encouraging. And now at least my small 3 dreams have come true, right? Playing the piano again, and doing something in English, and playing the guitar again. And one more thing, there's one more thing that I wish I could start again, which is sewing. I mean, making clothes by myself. I used to do it very much, and I even bought a very expensive sewing machine, but I never use it. I made curtains. I made the curtains for this house when we started living in this new house, which is 10 years ago already. And I really buy that machine because sewing machine, I don't know how to pronounce it. Sewing machine, I don't know. Okay, anyway, it's quite expensive, but it's a machine that professional people use. They could use bigger machines. I'm not sure, but it's one of the most expensive sewing machines, which cost about 70,000 yen at that time. And but too bad that I never use it ever since then. I've never used it ever since then. And this is another dream of mine, and I think that I will make it realize. I can make it come true very soon. I've always been thinking about it, but I never tried to do anything to realize it. But this is waiting in the list, And okay, I don't know how much I have been talking, how much time, how long I have been talking today, but since my stomach started growing, I should stop here and edit the video very easily and upload it on YouTube. And yesterday's video had 4 or 5 views, and I haven't decided if I should make it public. Do I really need it open to the public? I don't know, but okay. I'm a little bit getting tired, and okay, I'll be back some other time. I cannot promise that I will come tomorrow because my mood swings so much. But anyway, it's fun to speak in English, and in terms of my Spanish learning, I started practicing how to speak in Spanish also. I've never done it. I only did a lot of reading and listening, but I never tried to practice my speaking in Spanish. But I found this very good book on Kindle. It's a textbook written by an American guy named Mike Ben. He's a YouTuber, and I happened to find one of his YouTube videos yesterday. He was talking about why he thinks that we shouldn't start practicing our speaking when our levels are still very low, and why we should start practicing speaking with other people, after our levels are somewhere between intermediate, lower intermediate, and upper intermediate, because it's more effective. And especially when you are a beginner. I have been there. And I've been there and done that, but you really want to speak to other people in your target language. But it can be a nuisance to other people because you don't know how to express yourself clearly, and it takes time for you to do it, right? And which means that you have to wait to other people, right? It's not effective. So until then, there are many ways that you can do by yourself. Practice your speaking skills. And he said that he didn't say that, but when I was watching his videos, and I tried to see if what he had in his description, and then I learned that he had a book. He published a book, actually, and I was curious about it. And there was a link, and I clicked on the link, which led me to the Amazon.com, and he has a Kindle book which has a 5 stars rating or something, and I was curious about it. But I was a bit disappointed because it might have been only on Amazon.com. And I copied the title, and I searched the title in the search box on the Amazon.co.com, Amazon Japan. Okay, in other words. And then it came up, and I was so glad to find it. And what is more surprising, and what is more even more surprising, and I don't know how to say this. I felt even glad about was that I can read it for free because I'm a member of Kindle Unlimited. Okay, and as soon as I knew that I could read it for free, I downloaded it. Okay, I borrowed it, and then I started reading it. It's written in English, and so it's a good opportunity for me to improve my reading skills and also speaking skills, because it's written in simple English, and it's very explanation is very clear, and so it's not only good for my reading practice, but also it's good for my speaking practice, because I can use all those explanations and how to explain things when I speak in English, while I'm like I do now, right? And he says that he's a math teacher or someone, and his explanation when it comes to math is very clear, and that's what his students say, and that's why he thinks that he also can explain how to study Spanish in his own way. And it's very easy to understand. And since he is not an Spanish speaker, he's a American guy who has studied, who has mastered Spanish. So that's why he understands something that native Spanish speakers might miss. And that's what I got curious about, though. And there are many practice questions and problems in that book, and I decided to use it to improve my speaking skills. And how to do it, I'll explain how to use the book some other time, though. Okay, and then I decided to work on my speaking skills, improving my speaking skills, because when you only try to read and listen, and there's a huge difference between you only use your brain to read and listen, and you actually try to write, and you actually try to say something in your brain. That's what I felt directly ever since I started with his textbook, and I'm very happy that I was able to find his book. I hadn't been able to, if I hadn't watched one of his videos yesterday or the day before yesterday, I couldn't have found his book. So I was quite lucky. Okay, I'm going to talk about my Spanish learning some other time. So please look forward to it. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I'll be back some other time. So I really hope you have a wonderful day and talk to you soon. Bye.